Yeah. Did you start in reflection, notice that some of those personality traits of cutting people off or only getting so far with them started earlier than the alcoholism? Because I often I tell people I was an alcoholic before I was an alcoholic.
Yeah, it's strange. I come from a family. I'm the youngest of five kids. I have two awesome parents who are still with us. They still live in our childhood home. We still all go there for Christmas. We are a great family, and we were always there for each other and really loving and supporting household. But it wasn't brought to my attention until a couple years ago that we never talked about anything outside of politics and sports, you know, and like, how's your
Right.
job going?
Right.
We never checked in to see how each other was actually doing. Um, when I look back to, sad moments where family members passed away, grandparents passed away, aunts and uncles that passed away, that was not discussed. It was, if we went to the funeral, which we always didn't do, but if we did, it was like we went to the funeral, we got in the car, we went home, and that was never talked about again.
Hmm.
We never dove in to anything. Um, so even my own brothers and sisters, there was a lot I didn't know about them. So in starting to look at the relationships I had built over the years with my so-called friends who were great people, and past relationships I had, girlfriends in my life, I never took the time to get to know them at all, below the surface. And I didn't let them in at all. They knew nothing about what was going on with me on the inside. So that was how I operated, and I was completely unaware of it. Um, I would have told you that my family and I, we couldn't possibly be closer, and all my relationships in my life were unbelievable, but I didn't realize until I got sober, how surfacey all these relationships were, and started to question if I ever had any real friends, not because of them, but because of me.
Boy, you gave me the chills, Dan. I'm like, shit, this guy's telling my story here. It
Yeah.
sounds familiar. Oh, and it's so tough. I don't know about you, from my parents, and as I've been journaling more lately, recognizing that, my parents were only as old as parents as my brother was, who's 4 years older than me. And they came from a generation of a different level of emotional maturity, and they did the best and were ramping up. How do you kind of reflect on that with your folks? Because your folks were high achievers, right? They were both Broadway dancers.
Yeah, they were both Broadway dancers. My mom, she gave up her career because she wanted to have a big family and wanted to be home. That was by choice. Um, my dad ended up searching for a more stable job, became a successful stockbroker.
Huh.
Um, and then when I was about 12 or 13, they ended up opening up a dance studio that's been around for 35 years now. That they still have and still run. Um, my parents, as you were just kind of alluding to there, it's like my parents, I feel like they did an awesome job in keeping us all safe, raising us all generally happy, keeping us all close. As I said, we were all close. We all loved each other. We all took care of each other. And I think they did the best they could with what they knew. It's as you talk about journaling, as I'm journaling, reliving parts of my life, I have rediscovered all these moments that my dad dropped in, little life lessons along the way that I should have paid more attention to, but I didn't, because my dad, in his way, it wasn't this long heartfelt conversation. He just found a moment to, drop a little knowledge on me, but then it was gone, and it was kind of what I chose to do with it or not. And unfortunately, I didn't do much with it at that time. So like my parents were always there. Anytime I was in a jam, they were there for all of us, they didn't connect with their parents on a deeper level. And so they didn't connect with us on that level. It was like, if you fall down, you get hurt, you get up and you keep going. It was very much in my household, like what do you have to complain about? Because it's true. We grew up, I didn't go without. I always had the new Jordans, I had whatever I wanted. So it was kind of smile and keep going. Life's not that difficult.
This is the Knocking Doors Down podcast, featuring celebrities, experts, and everyday people who have overcome adversities, including addiction, mental health, and trauma, to live purposeful lives. And that's what Knocking Doors Down is all about.